The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's cyber unit is barely 3 months old, but it's showing the world it's ready to play hardball against a Canadian company. The unit filed its first charges against an allegedly fraudulent initial coin offering, or ICO, today. Its target is PlexCore, a privately held company that managed to raise $15 million from thousands of investors. The SEC says PlexCore promised investors a 13-fold profit in less than a month. All this comes at a time when Bitcoin continues to reach all new highs, and Chicago's two biggest derivatives exchanges race to become the first U.S. market of choice for Bitcoin futures trading. For more on all this, I'm joined by the CBC's Jacqueline Hansen. Jacqueline, I mean, part of the weird thing in this is that everybody wants in. Does that come with its own whole set of sort of concerns?
Well, yeah, and part of it is just rushing into something, right? So the fear of missing out, but whether it's for investors, but also companies rushing in to perhaps do one of these ICOs in hopes of raising money while people are still interested. But, you know, whether it's cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin you mentioned or ICOs, the excitement around these things is really at a level that we haven't seen before, and it's attracting a lot of money. But because it's happening so fast, it's largely being unregulated, and that, you know, creates this possibility for some questionable activity to happen. And I talked to a currency analyst today who said that ICOs are one more element of this mania around cryptocurrencies, but he says that ICOs are likely rampant with fraud.
If you look at any mania over history, from the Klondike to modern day, one of the major participants are fraudsters. And it's happened time and time again already in Bitcoin. It's happening right now. And I would urge anyone who's thinking about investing in it to protect themselves by educating themselves.
So Adam Button there, he says when it comes to ICOs, he says to look out for the sort of buzzwords like revolutionary or those incredible promises of returns like you mentioned in your lead up there. But he also mentions too that there are some legitimate ICOs out there that do, you know, that are raising money for real purposes. But the sort of takeaway here being buyer beware.
No doubt. So, I mean, there's a weird dichotomy happening here, because on the one hand, we're saying we're going to assess these ICOs on a case-by-case basis here in Canada, all while regulators say they're going to start trying to crack down. Is there a ripple effect to that?
Well, when China banned ICOs, we saw Bitcoin tumble. It's recovered, but regulators do have the potential to make an impact here. But, you know, with these crackdowns, if alleged fraud turns into real fraud, or if regulators make some real major changes to this sector, that currency analyst I spoke with, he said that, you know, this could be a tipping point. This could be what causes the bubble to burst, whether it's the financial bubble or the psychological bubble, you know, around all the excitement about this. So we'll have to see.
These are fascinating times, aren't they?
They truly, truly are.
Jack, nice to see you.
You too.
Jacqueline Hansen, the CBC's senior business reporter. Our next guest runs a cryptocurrency company that's planning to go public with an ICO of its own. But here's the difference. Instead of waiting to see if the SEC's securities rules apply to it or not, it's preemptively choosing to abide by U.S. securities regulations. David Levine is the founder of Indico. He joins me now from San Francisco. So just walk me through, what regulations are you following?
Well, initially, there are regulations concerning crowdfunding. And ICOs are essentially crowdfunding. You get a lot of people to invest in your security. Most of the coin industry or the cryptocurrency industry tried to skate the rules by saying this was software, this was property, this was a utility. It wasn't a security. And we just decided from the very beginning to assume that if people were investing in something, we should make it a security. So the regulations are Regulation CF, which is for crowdfunding, where you can raise up to $1 million a year. Regulation A+, where you can raise up to $50 million a year. And those are both from just everyday people, non-accredited investors. And you can raise an unlimited amount from accredited investors under Regulation D.
But instead of sort of trying to guess what these regulations might look like and will they be closer to crowdfunding than something else, and let's go with that, why not just wait? Or do you need to get an ICO in under the wire?
Well, it's an interesting question. So I'm an entrepreneur. This is my fourth company. And, you know, you have to pay your software engineers. You want to go out and you want to build your company. So right now, entrepreneurs have three choices where they used to have two. They used to raise equity where they would sell their stock, or they would take on debt. And now there's this new opportunity where you can sell crypto assets. So as an entrepreneur, it makes sense if you can do that legally and you can do that safely and you can protect your investors, then why not use the SEC's regulations that are already published and just comply with them?
It's funny, it feels like we're at an inflection point in which either, you know, sort of this will start to unfold, and as regulation sort of cracks down on it, things will change, or it will become a legitimate part of the way we raise money and the way capitalism works. Are we seeing the legitimization of the cryptocurrency, of the blockchain and Bitcoin sort of economy here?
It's certainly being legitimized, and even more, it's being widely accepted. When I would talk to my parents about Bitcoin, they would say, oh, the dark web, you know, drug trafficking, human trafficking. Well, now there are amazing companies. There's one called Democracy Earth at democracy.earth, which is using the blockchain to revolutionize how people vote. There are blockchain companies like my own that are really helping to deploy clean energy assets, smart cities. There's so many. This is going to be a transformational moment in the way we exchange information and, more importantly, exchange value. People are just right now looking at it as an investment and a way to speculate, but it's so much broader. It really is a completely new form of the internet, and I think it's going to bring about major changes.
Really quickly before you go, does it also come with its own inherent risk?
It really actually solves risks that people aren't even aware of. Centralized web servers, all of these, you know, Uber got hacked, Yahoo got hacked, Verizon got hacked. This is simply a much, much safer, better way for people to exchange value and exchange information. So it really gets rid of a lot of risks that are inherent in our current internet.
All right, I appreciate you making the time. David Levine, the founder of Indico, On the Money continues just ahead.